to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Thank you for your love and for your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you that have supported Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Okay, guys, so in today's video, so you can see, I'm going to be showing you how to cut this deep V neckline flare gown. So a subscriber actually sent it to me. So since I have the fabrics material available, so I decided to make a tutorial on it. So we're going to be drafting on our pattern paper first. That's the top part, and then we'll transfer to our fabric. So the fabric that I have here, I have about 3 yards of Ankara fabric here that we're going to be making use of. So alright, so we're going to be making this as a bustier. So for this, you can make use of any bustier pattern of your choice. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to insert our measurement. So it is for a small size. So the bust point is 9 and then the under bust is 12, and then we'll have our half cut at 14. So the first thing we're going to do now, we're going to insert our dart measurement. So for the dart, I'm going to be making use of 4 inches. So you just rule 4 inches across. For those of you that have been following me, you will know how to draft a bustier because I have lots of them on the channel. So you insert it this way. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to take out our dart. So I'm going to come to the under bust line. So I'll take 1 inch to the right, and then I'll take 1 inch to the left. So this is like the easiest bustier pattern ever. So from here, I'll connect this to my bust point. So let me number them. This is my bust point, under bust, and then this is my half cut. Okay, so from those points now, I'm going to do the same thing that I did here on this, and then I'll just take it. You maintain the 1 inch downwards on both sides, and then from here we'll come to the shoulder line. So on the shoulder line, we'll take 1 inch to our right hand side like this, and then on the left hand side, I'm just going to take out half of an inch. So we're going to connect this line to this line, and then connect this line to this. So the next thing we're going to go ahead, I'm going to blend this part, and then the next thing we're going to insert our shoulder measurement. So for the shoulder, I'm going to be making use of 13, which is 6.5. So remember, I have this is 6.6.5. You remember from our dart, we took out 1.5 inch. So you add that back into your measurement, and then you add your stitching allowance. So from there, I'm just going to come like this. I'll mark 7.5 inches for my armhole. Like I said, it is a small size, so you divide your measurement, that's the armhole measurement, into 2. So I'll just go ahead, I'll mark, just use your pattern. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to insert our bust measurement. So to insert our bust measurement, you're just going to come to this line like this, and then we're going to insert our bust measurement. So our bust is 32. So this is 8 inches for 32. So I'm going to add 1 inch extra because of this drama that is going to go on here. And then I'm going to add 2 inches for my stitching allowance. So from this point like this, I'm just going to mark here. And then for the under bust, you divide your measurement into 4. All of our measurements are divided into 4. So I'm going to add 7 inches here. Just use your own applicable measurement. And then I'm going to add these 2 inches back, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. So I'm going to connect them together like this. And then my half cut measurement. So you divide your half cut, that's where you want your cut to be. You divide it into 2 also. Into 4, sorry. You add your measurement, and then remember your dart. You add it back into your measurement, and then you add your stitching allowance. So you see how easy it is. So I'm going to go ahead now, cut out the side. So this pattern, I'm going to actually use it on the back. just the way it is like this. So I'll use this now, cut out the back pattern first before I cut out the bustier. So I've cut out my back pattern. So I'm going to go ahead now, cut out this. So before I cut out the neckline, I'm going to go and join my dart line. So I'll transfer this on my fabric, and then I'll go ahead and stitch them together before cutting out the neckline. So that will make me to know how to arrange the neckline properly instead of inserting the neckline here. So I'll just go ahead now. I'll cut out. Okay, so I finished cutting. So I'll just go ahead now. I'll join my fabric together and then come back and show you how to insert the neckline. Okay guys, so you can see I finished cutting. So you can see our bust here, even without padding, it's standing nicely. So the next thing now, we're going to insert the neckline. So I'm going to fold it like this. If you notice, the neckline is a very wide neckline. So I'll fold it like this. So I'll cut out the front first. So and then I'll measure. So for the width of the neckline, I'm going to be making use of about 4.5 inches instead of our regular 3.5 inches, 3 inches. If you notice, it is a very deep V, like an off-shoulder V. And then from this point, I'm going to mark the depth of the neckline. So for the depth, so I'm just going to do this. For the depth, I'm going to use about 7 inches. So from this point, I'm just going to give it a straight, deep plunge like this. And then I'll take this, I'll place it on the back. So I want to cut both of them together. So in order to do this, to make it not to fall out from the shoulder, the back V is not going to be as deep as the front. So that's the only way it's not going to fall out. But if it is as deep as the front, it's going to fall out. So please note. So this is the back. So this is for the back. So it's not as deep as the front. So these are most of the parts where I'm making emphasis on this video so you understand it properly. So I'll go ahead now, cut out the back, and then I'll open it up because of our zipper, and then I'll go ahead and cut the front part. So at the end of the day, so you see what we have. So you see how the neckline is looking like an off shoulder. So you can see. So the next thing now, we're going to cut out our flare. So I'm using a full flare. I'm going to cut out a very full, just a full flare. Okay guys, so you can see my fabric is folded into 4. So it's folded into 2 because it is a very short gown. So you see it is folded into 4 now. So I'm going to be using 23 as my length to cut out. So I'll just go ahead, I'll mark 23 round for my flare. This is a 360-degree flare, full flare. So the next thing, I'm going to insert my waist measurement. So it is a very simple way. You can decide to use your full and flare formula to do this, or you can decide to do this way. Okay, so the waist measurement that I'm making use of is actually 28 inches. So you can decide to use your full flare formula, it depends on what you want. So I'm just going to do it the easy way. So you are going to divide your waist measurement into 4. So when you divide into 4, you are going to have 7. So that 7 inches, you are not just going to carry the 7 inches and place like this. If you place it like this and cut it, you will spoil your fabric. So I'm going to cut it in a very minimal way. So you can see how I'm placing my 7, and then I'm just going to go ahead and mark it like this. So I'm not marking it from the down part, I'm marking it rather from the top part. So if you are making use of this style to cut your peplum, I will advise for you, when you are cutting, don't cut directly on the line. Cut a little bit above. You cut it a little bit above. Why you are cutting it a little bit above is that if it, so you can see it is a very full flare. If it is too big, you still have option of opening it more. That's if it is too small, you still have option of opening it more. But if it is too big, you don't have any option. So you have to be very careful, or you use your regular peplum formula. So we're almost done. So the next thing, I'm just going to go ahead and go and join my fabric. So when cutting, make sure you add your waist measurement. So this is still small, I'm still going to increase it. Add your waist measurement to this. So I'll go and join the back and the front together now. So I'll match the side seam together like this. I'll join them together. After joining it together, and then I'll join the side and then come back and show you how to attach the peplum. It's a simple process. Okay, so you can see, so I finished stitching. So I've joined the zipper allowance at the back. So you can see the back neckline. You see that it's not very deep. It's not as deep as the front neckline. So this is the front part. So this bust here, we actually did not pad it. So but it's still looking okay. So the next thing now we're going to do, now I'm going to show you. So for the neckline, I'm just going to use this bias tool because I'm not adding a lining. So I'll just use the bias to turn out the neckline. So for the flare, so we're going to still open it up on one side. So you remember I opened it earlier on, but this is my actual line. So I'm going to cut it. Since it's not the same, I'm going to cut it on my actual line right now. Because we're going to add a zip to this dress, so you can see what we have now. So you can see our flare, see it has entered properly. So I still have a little bit of excess. So I'm going to open, just take out one part now of it, and then I'm going to open it as my zipper allowance line or mark. So I'm going to open up just one part. Okay. So I have my flare lined up easily. So the next thing, I'm going to open this part now. So you see, this is just like the very easy way of fixing this. So you open it up and then you take your flare and then you fix. So you can see, you see that everything is entering. So I'm still going to open up a little. Okay guys, so you can see, so I finished stitching, joining my flare together. So I'm going to explain how to actually join this flare. So in joining this flare, you take the center part of your top bodice, you put a notch, and then take the center part of your flare, put a notch, and then you sew it, just sew it straight on a straight line. So you can see it, you just sew, stitch it straight. So for the neckline, so I just used a bias like I explained earlier on to turn out my neckline. So I've gone ahead, I've turned that out. So the next thing that is remaining now is for me to join the back. So for the back, you're just going to take the back and then you join it straight downwards, and then you fix your zipper. So for the sleeve, I'm not going to do the sleeve in this video because I already have a balloon sleeve on my YouTube channel. So please, I'm going to drop the link on the description box just to save my energy. I'm going to drop the link. So it's a very detailed balloon sleeve. So you watch it. So once you watch it, you know how to fix the sleeve. So for this, you can actually do any sleeve of your choice. So I'm just going to go ahead now, finish it up, and then I'll place it on the mannequin for you to see. So in order to get that fullness, you see how full it is on our mannequin. Once you cut your full flare, definitely it's going to have that standing effect. And if you want it to have that much full effect, you can decide to line your ankara. If the ankara you are making use of, if it is not a strong one, you can line it. So once you add lining to it, it's going to stand properly. Okay guys, so at the end of the day, so you can see how our gown is looking like. So you can see the flare is very full. So for the down part, most times when I'm making flare dresses like this, if I'm not adding a lining to it, as if I'm not turning with a lining. So like I said, if you want it to be fuller, you can decide to line it. If I'm not adding a lining, I prefer to use an overlock seam to serge the edges rather than hemming it, so it's always neater. So that's what I'm going to use for the down part. So for the sleeve, like I said, I'm going to drop the link in the description box. So for the neckline, if you want your own neckline to be deeper than that, you can go as much as you want. And then for the width, for the wideness, you can go as much as 5 inches. Just make sure that the back is not as high as the front. So with that, it stays on the shoulder perfectly well. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please, I would appreciate if you hit on the like button. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. So thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. God bless.